What's up everybody, this is 13 with Superior Mobile by 13, and I don't normally do this, but I'm going to actually save the grand reveal of the final product, because what I want to do is showcase the insides of this, the true beauty that is the attention to detail, that is the bodywork in this design. I completely built all of this from scratch. Started with an acrylic base of some flat pieces and built up off of the reflector bowl itself. So as you can see, this beautiful little middle peak that I designed and built there, and all of this curvature in here. This is actually a factory piece right there. Those shrouds are trimmed super precision and close to the I don't know, whatever you'd want to call this little section that I made. It fills up the gaps real tightly, so there's a lot of precision in the design and the construction here. And once I put this front plastic on it, you aren't gonna see much of any of that. I'm actually gonna seal it up right now, actually finish the project, and then I will start the official, oh my goodness, wait till you see this build that I just made video. Oh my goodness, look at what I made. So here it is, the grand reveal. This is for a Buell 1125CR. It is a motorcycle, my first motorcycle retrofit. So I don't know if you'd want to technically consider this one a quad retrofit, but it is 2 assemblies in 1 housing. So technically I'd call this a dual retrofit, but whatever, you get the idea. So here's the backstory on this thing. Homeboy reaches out to me, says that he purchased all this equipment from Retrofit Source and wanted to do a retrofit on his motorcycle. Took apart his housing, realized, oh my goodness, he's in over his head. This is not the first time I've heard a story that started this way. Now obviously, being a 2009 motorcycle, this isn't exactly the newest, greatest, latest, fanciest motorcycle, but you know what? I liked this guy and I liked how much passion he had. I also have a motorcycle that doesn't even run right now, but I love it and I can't bear to get rid of it. Same with this dude, like, he loves his motorcycle and he really wanted to just get some headlights that were better than stock. But unfortunately, as I'm sure you can imagine now, he purchased dual mini H1s and there was no way that he was going to be able to get those to fit in this housing. It's actually kind of laughable, now that I understand how much work is involved with it, to think that somebody could DIY this project. So with all that said, basically what happened was he shipped everything down to me and said, please, can you figure this out for me? And I said, I don't know what it's going to take. I know it's going to be a lot of work. I know it's going to be expensive, but I will get it done. And he said, okay. So not only is this super exciting for me because it's my first headlight retrofit for a motorcycle, but it also marks the end of my ridiculous backlogs. I have not been taking on any new work for the last 4 months or so. So once this is done, which, ta-da, it's done now, the oldest deposited job on my shelf is approximately 3 weeks old. And so the goal is to get my work backlog down to a 2-week turnaround cycle, because I don't believe that anyone should have to wait more than 2 weeks for something as simple as headlights. So let's get into this build and what makes it so amazing. First of all, as you saw at the beginning of this video when I had the lens off, there's an insane amount of bodywork in this housing in order to make these 2 projectors fit. These do not fit in this housing. End of story. It was originally a dual rear reflector housing, presumably a low beam and a high beam, and I had to remove the entire assembly. This is what it was like. The idea that you would be able to shaft mount a mini H1 on this is absolutely laughable. There's so many clearance issues, it's just completely unreasonable. So I cut out the entire thing and basically built in an acrylic backing plate, which was the mounting plate, and then I built the entire assembly on the inside so that I could mount these guys from behind. Everything is aligned appropriately. I don't even want to get into the technical details of how that was so difficult, but let me tell you, it was not easy, but it was a lot of fun and I enjoyed taking that challenge on and overcoming it. Once it was all built up on the inside, I painted everything a gloss black. The shrouds, as you saw earlier, are trimmed to fit there, and we have dual switchback shrouds as well as red demon eyes. Now here we are with the demon eyes activated. As you can see, they are single color. They are the LED Concepts red. This is the first time I've ever worked with a single color demon eye. This is not something I would normally do. Again, this is all customer supplied product, but they perform quite well. They do the trick. Obviously, we have red demon eyes. Ta-da! Looks really cool. I'm happy with it. Now on to the halos. Again, these are profile pivot switchback halos, and they are mounted inside of there. It's pretty much what you would expect out of a halo. They are bright white and they blink switchback. So not only will the white be super bright and attention grabbing and make this motorcycle stand out, the turn signals will operate inside of the headlight housing itself, so that's going to add a, again, very noticeable feature, which is always great on a motorcycle because safety is always paramount. And of course, when the turn signal circuit is removed, the running light comes right back on. Now that's all for the running light. Let's get on to the headlight output, the main objective of this build. Anytime you've got a rear reflector housing, chances are your headlight output's going to be pretty poopy, and it's especially bad on motorcycles that utilize a very small housing, and so the lighting performance is always not very great. So this is using a full setup of a Morimoto Mini H1. So we've got obviously 2 projectors in there. It's going to be running the H1 bulbs, 35 watt ballast, full HID kit, low and high beam all in this assembly. It's basically what you would expect out of a vehicle, and it's jammed into this little ass housing. So that's really exciting as far as being able to see at night on this motorcycle. Okay, so I just turned on the headlights, and there you are. We actually have projector assemblies that are HID, that are in a motorcycle, inside of a Buell, inside of a 2009 Buell. It's completely unheard of, never before seen, and check it out. We have a beautiful cutoff pattern. So you may not be able to tell from this image right now, but the 2 steps are basically 2-3 inches off, something like that, because we have about a 2-3 inch gap between there. I don't actually remember what it is, but I know that I measured it. And as you can see on the wall, it basically behaves as 1 step, which is going to give him dial-in-able performance. Now let's talk about the back of this housing for 1 second. Now you get to see the behind the scenes as to all the wiring that's here. We have the igniter, side 1, igniter, side 2. Demon eye, this is the halo, this is the other halo. Everything's nice and sealed up, clean and tidy with some housing caps. We've got the high beam assembly plugs right there. Now you'll see that there's a bunch of warbly goop all over this thing. This is 2-part plastic epoxy. As I said earlier, I had to rebuild the entire bucket as well in order to house these projector assemblies. They are simply too large for this housing, and I had to cut all that out and then take those access holes, which were all the way out to the side, and scooch them inwards. It was an undertaking, let me just put it that way. But everything is solid and good, and it has an OEM seal and will all be nice and gravy. Now worth mentioning is that all of these adjustment screws, we got 2 down there and then 1 on the very bottom, those are all in the middle of their travel pattern. So this beam output pattern is set basically spot on in the middle of your adjustability range. So wherever it ends up sitting on the motorcycle, we're going to be able to adjust it significantly down as necessary, significantly up as necessary, or left or right. Anything that is needed, it will be able to be adjusted, and it will be able to be appropriately located, and that is the goal. Now, because I know I'm about to be asked, can you build headlights for my motorcycle? The answer is always going to be yes, I can build stuff for you. The real question is, do you have the money to back up your request? And I hate to say it so callously like that, but there is a significant amount of labor into this, and it's all skilled labor, and so I am going to charge appropriately. This should be treated as a concept build, and it is priced accordingly. Now, that pricing will be in the video description. I do not expect items like this to be flying off the shelves here, but understand that I am capable of this type of work. This is what I love doing, and for especially customers like this guy, man, he's awesome, and I really am super excited about sharing this build with him. I know that he's gonna love it, and I just can't wait to see it on his bike. He loves that bike, and I love this build. So there's a lot of emotional attachment going on into these work. These are works of art. They're products of passion. This is not production line stuff. I have no intention of creating more of this exact thing. There will never be another Buell in the world with headlights like this. That is a absolute certainty. 1 of 1. Thanks so much for watching this video. I know it was a little bit lengthy, but this is a really exciting build for me. This is 13 with Superior Mobile by 13. Again, have yourselves a wonderful day. I will talk to you later. Yes!